really we're here to talk about this match. Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns in Montreal. Not sure how acquainted you are with the backstory, but by most accounts, it is really well written, really nuanced. There's an undercurrent with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. There's a lot of story there, but the main story was Sami in Montreal. What did you think?
Yeah, I loved the match. I loved the match. Up front, they took their time, didn't let the crowd dictate what they were going to do or like dictate where their story was going or how they wanted to present this match. They were so secure in what they were doing and believed in themselves. They were going to get the fans however they wanted. And obviously, it's already easy because they've been the main story and they're in Montreal, which is Sammy's hometown. But still, they were so secure. They took their time. They walked and every time that they would hit something, they'd let it breathe, and they had so much story on the back end too with the Usos. How long would this match? It was like half an hour, right?
Yeah, I would say so. So.
So,
But over 4 minutes after the bell ring before they touched.
Yes. Okay. Wow. I think so many guys now and girls would say, okay, we have 30 minutes. How many false finishes can we get in? And instead, these guys said, what false finishes can we get in to make them actually believe, make them actually believe this is it. This is the finish. I thought it was great storytelling involving his wife, Khadijah, who I think is a great human being.
Just everything rings so sincere.
Yeah, for sure. But that's her. She is a sincere human being. She's every time I've met her, she's always so positive, always smiling. Sammy's very lucky to have her. And, I guess she's lucky to have Sami too, because he's very positive and very happy all the time too. But she portrayed herself so well because she actually does love him. It's like she actually cares about him and feels that way. So she doesn't have to pretend or anything like that. But yeah, the match was great. I loved it. I loved the story. I've been a huge fan of Roman's for years and years and years. He has obviously been on another level since I left because he's been a champion. He's been their champion for, I think it was like 900 days or something. Is that right?
Yeah, and 900 days, but also very different in many ways, right? He's got a different look. He is a bad guy now. The first 4 minutes, I think I tweeted, this is Roman Reigns' greatest moment. Because when you have the fans cheering for Sami like that, there's a million things the other guy can do to either ruin it or make it better. And it seemed like every facial expression he made, every movement he made, Roman perpetuated and made the response even bigger and bigger. What do you think of the maturity and the evolution of Roman Reigns into, almost, not Rock Hogan maybe, but definitely Cena level, right?
I couldn't agree with you more with that. Talking about the facials, watching that match, I learned from him because his facials started off at first. His facials were, it showed the emotion of he's not taking this seriously.
Yeah, who the fuck is this guy? Right. Yeah.
Then the fans kept cheering, and then it got him pissed off. Right. You saw how mad he got on his face. Then the fans kept cheering, and Sami showed so much poise and he showed so much confidence that in turn Roman's face dropped like, oh my God, maybe this is a real thing. You know what I mean?
It was so great. Yeah.
I mean, and listen, I understand because I've been there. Not every wrestler, not most wrestlers. Most wrestlers are not going to get the opportunity that these two got to have 4 minutes to allow their facials to change like that, to have 30 or 35 or 40 minutes from curtain to curtain, to tell this story. I get that and understand that. But when you're tasked with that, you always got to deliver. And they were tasked with that and they delivered. So I can't commend him enough on the match. I thought the match was beautiful. I thought the storytelling was beautiful too. And I would love to see where they're going to go next, because with the Usos, it seems like from what I've seen on the back end of that, Seems like it's going to be Sammy and Kevin against the Usos at Mania.
That's what people are
Which would
saying.
be which would be that'd be great for tag team wrestling, because it would be a traditional tag team and then two best friends fighting for the tag team belts on the biggest pay-per-view of the year.
And they are the unified tag team belts.
Yeah.
So you've got that coming up, but just a little bit more about the match. You talked a lot about psychology in the first couple matches. I want to talk about, you say a lot, 1-2-0, 1-2-0. This match had 1-2-0s, but one of them is something that always happens with Sami Zayn, and who's someone it's documented I've been a fan of for a long time. That Blue Thunder Bomb gets everybody every time, and I don't know if he's ever beaten anybody with it. It's kind of amazing the way that Sami can get people to buy into his finishes, right?
Well, yeah, but I think it's also just as much of a credit to Roman, and it's not the 1-2-0. I got to correct you. It's the 1-2-3. Oh my God!
Oh, right, right.
1-2-0 is the built-in reaction that all the fans do now, and then the wrestlers equate that with, yes, I'm over. This match is over. But when you get the fans to say 1-2-3, oh my God,
they're fooled when they're fooled, right?
Yeah,
okay.
And you can't get that reaction on every single false finish, but that's totally okay. But when you get it, if you get it at least once, then you fucking got them. But the reason that the Blue Thunder Bomb works, when it works, is because the scenarios that are painted around that move. Guys and girls like to hit big bombs and cover 1-2, kick out, and that's what Dave Meltzer rates as a 5-star match. And so that's what they try to do. They try to make sure they please Dave Meltzer so they can get a 5-star rating. But when you forget about the scenarios that are painted around the moves, that's when you lose that's kind of when you lose a little bit of the magic, right. Because you can hit these moves, boom, boom, 1-2, oh my God, or you can hit a beautiful move and the people are going to stand and give you a standing ovation because the move was so cool, but you don't really want that. You want them to believe in you. And so whatever you paint, the scenarios you paint around these moves, like his Helluva kick, the scenario he painted around that is what made the people believe in it, and the equity he's built up in it too. But they're both top-notch performers, both those guys. So
you love the match. What did you think about the ending, the finish?
Yeah, I thought it was the right way to go. I thought that they built it perfectly. And I thought that it was, if they weren't going to have Sami win, I felt that was the right way to have him not win. And then he got the shine on the back end too, with Jimmy. And
right.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, Roman is the biggest star in the world, right? So you got to have him. I would think you got to have him as your perennial champion going into your biggest show of the year.
Against the challenger that a lot of people think might be the next guy, Cody Rhodes, right?
Yeah. So, I'm not saying that Sami should never be world champion. I think I told you, a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago that I thought he had every attribute to be world champion. But I think at this point right now, leading up to Mania, you want the guy who's been the champion for 900 days or whatever it is, who is the biggest star in the wrestling world. You want him to be the champion going into your biggest show of the year. And we don't know where this story is going to go. Who knows?